Good morning, everyone. So today our theme is going to be transport. So before we even get started, you're going to be getting into small workable groups. You could be in pairs or you could be in a small group of 3 to 4 people. If you are at home, you are going to pair up with someone that is at home, like a brother, a sister, an aunt, a gran, or a mum, or a dad. And if you are in your classroom, your teacher will put you into small groups. And if you are on a Zoom lesson, your teacher will put you into a breakaway session. So you're going to pause your video while you just get yourselves organized. Now that we are in our groups, we're going to have a quick discussion with our group and try and come up with a definition. What is transport? What is transport? We know it's got something to do with moving, but if you throw a ball off a corridor, you are moving the ball. Is that transport? So let's have a discussion with your group. Come up with a definition. So transport is the moving of people or objects from one place to another, usually in a vehicle or a vessel of some sort. So it could be on a raft, a bicycle, a car, an aeroplane, a boat, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's get started with the rest of our transport lesson. We are going to be playing a memory game. You're going to look at all the pictures that come up on the screen, and then as a group, you are going to try and recall what all those pictures were. See how many of them you can remember. We're now going to be thinking about trains. I'm going to be playing you a soundtrack of a train pulling out of a station, and then I'm going to play you another soundtrack of a train that is going along the train tracks. I want you to close your eyes while you listen, and then we're going to be put into breakaway groups. In those groups, you are going to try and decide how together as a group you can recreate the sounds that you have just heard. You could use very everyday items like 2 pairs of scissors that you could bang together, or you could use your mouth to make certain sounds like this. So you're going to think about your sounds, but first of all, let's take a good, careful listen to the soundtrack. I now want us to think of buses as a means of transport. Now, I'm sure all of you have taken a bus journey before. Now, I want you in your group to try and think of the most memorable bus journey you have ever gone on, and you are going to tell your group about that bus journey. It could just be a journey that you have gone on a school trip, or it could be a bus journey that you have done when you have been on holiday, or it could be a journey that you have made into town. So let's talk about it, talk about the people that have been on the bus, what you can remember that was memorable about your bus journey. I now want you to talk to your group about what your favorite mode of transport is. You might love flying. Someone else in your group might hate flying. Somebody in your group might love going on boats. Somebody else might get terribly seasick. So you're going to be talking about what is your favorite mode of transport and what is your most unfavorite mode of transport and why. I want everybody in the group to get a chance to speak and to air their opinions. Please try and remember what each person in the group has said. Now, when my mom was a young lady, the means of transport to go overseas was in a boat. Everybody used boats as their way of transporting themselves. Boats were also used to take the post from one country to another country. Boats were used to bring fresh produce from overseas to South Africa and vice versa. Nowadays, there is a lot of this that still continues, and boats are used mainly when they are transporting people just for pleasure, not to actually get them from one place to another place. Why do you think it is that nowadays boats are not used quite as frequently for all of these things? Yes, you're absolutely right. Boats are not used as much to transport goods around because they take a very long time to get from place to place. So only large quantities of products, for example, sugar or coal or cars, are transported by boat. Most other things are transported by aeroplane. I want you now as a group to look at the following picture of an airport. I want you to decide what is happening in that picture and see if you can make up a little bit of a story about that picture. Everybody is going to contribute a bit to the story and try and make the story exciting. It needs a good middle, a beginning, and an end. So look at the picture that's going to come up onto the screen and see what you can come up with. Group. When it comes to transporting children to and from school, which options of transport do you think are the most eco-friendly? Would it be walking to school, cycling to school, coming to school in your mum's car, coming to school in a lift club, coming to school in a school bus, coming to school by train? Right, let's just think about it and see which one you think would be the most eco-friendly. In the early days of sea travel and transporting things by boat, sailing ships were used. So ships were powered by putting up their sails and catching the wind to push them along. What do you think some of the dangers might have been with sailing ships and transporting their goods from one place to another? You're going to now discuss that with your We are now going to imagine that you are going to be transported with your group of friends to the moon. I'm going to give you a list of objects that you can take to the moon with you. I want you to put them in order of importance. You're going to rank them in order of importance. In other words, the thing that is the most important is going to get a 1. The thing that is the least important is going to get a 10. So you're going to look at the list and have a discussion and decide what gets number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, all the way down to number 10. And this is for things that are going to be most useful on the moon. Let's put your heads together and be careful. There are a couple of tricky things on my list. The invention of the wheel really changed transport. Wheels made things very much easier for people to be able to drag things along and get things from place to place. Now, I want you to pretend that you are a caveman and you have just invented the wheel. And now you are going to be trying to explain to the rest of your friends how useful this round piece of wood is that you are going to be able to use. And they are not really going to understand, and they will be answering you and asking you questions about this piece of wood that you are talking about in such an excited fashion. So in your groups, we're going to have one person that is going to be the inventor of the wheel, and the others are going to be the confused people who are listening to this excited caveman telling them about his new invention. I hope you've had fun discussing things, and now, talking of transport, it's time for me to be on my way. Have a good week. Bye-bye. Group.